All right, welcome back to the Music Mind Meld. So I wanted to get into a little bit. We didn't do some great intros, so I wanted to let you introduce yourself and tell everyone what who you are, where you came from.
Can we start with Spencer?
Sure, Spencer.
Are you okay with me just shoving that on you, Spencer?
No, that's fine. Do I need to say my name? My name is Spencer. I actually have two jobs right now. I work for RiverFest Elora, so I'm the festival manager and one of the artistic directors of the festival. And that is I like to call it a part-time, all-the-time job, because it's not necessarily full-time, but it becomes full-time at different parts of the year. It's just like whatever needs to get done, I have to do. Yeah. So sometimes it's like 60-hour weeks, sometimes it's 30-hour weeks, but it's, back and forth. And then the other side of what I do is I'm the Community Services, Culture, and Special Events Coordinator for the Township of Center Wellington.
Jesus, that's
a long one. It's kind of a catch-all, but basically I'm I manage the special events. I'm the liaison between the township and the special events, mainly the ones who use township property for their events. So like the Scottish Festival, RiverFest is actually technically one of my clients, but my boss will handle the contracts for RiverFest because that would be a weird thing. That's basically my two jobs, both of which kind of came to a halt during COVID. RiverFest, obviously there's always stuff to do, admin stuff, so I've been still working on that. The township job, I got over the summer, I got redeployed to the parks department. So I was cutting grass all summer, which for 20 odd hours a week. And actually it was awesome. I got to listen to so many podcasts and check out new bands and do research on music for the festival. So it was I felt very lucky to be able to be employed and all that, but it was definitely a change of pace. And now, as of November, they brought me back into the office. So I'm now I've been sitting on webinars and trying to navigate where things are going. Is basically what I've been doing.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome. And DJing.
Oh, and DJing. Yeah. I've been DJing for a long time. I think I started DJing at the Trashateria back in the day. And the way that came about was I think it was in the middle of winter and the DJ couldn't make it into town to DJ. And I lived upstairs from the Jimmy Jazz, in the building. So I went upstairs and grabbed all my CDs and stuff and just got in the booth and started DJing. It was a long time ago.
CD.
DJ Charles.
Yeah. A long time ago. And then I did E-Bar every Saturday. I was the resident DJ at E-Bar for 6 or 7 years. And now I just kind of do it for fun for friends at their restaurants or whatever. Or if someone I know is getting married or something like that. And then over COVID, I got kind of bored midsummer. So I have a Where the Wild Things Are onesie, the costume that the kid wears and Where the Wild Things Are.
Continue.
And so one night I was just I'm going to figure out how to DJ stream on online from my living room, and I put on that onesie and I've been doing that now for 8 months probably. Whenever I get bored and I just feel like listening to music and people seem to like it. So
sorry, the timeline. 8 months. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's it. Yeah.
I see your events pop up, and I'm always I honestly I gotta ask your all day DJ events. I see through the summer, it's DJ Spencer and SPENNY, sorry. They're from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Oh,
I'm how? I'm that is not a man.
So those ones are at actually I'm wearing the t-shirt, the Friendly Society in Elora. Our friend owns that. So it was just something to do this summer. So they'd set me up on their patio, and I'd start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and go until they close at 10 or 11 at night. And just play whatever. We would just pick a theme for the day, and people loved it. I'd be blasting music up the street, tourists are dancing in the sidewalk and stuff. But it was great. It's a great thing to do, and just get out and see people was the main reason for it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That'll start as soon as the weather gets nice again, I think.
So no plans other than like maybe a couple from home then for the DJ sets?
For now, yeah. For the immediate future.
Well, I guess...
I have to introduce myself.
Yeah, you should probably introduce yourself. Next.
I don't know if you forgot or not, but yeah, I'm Bilay. One of the owners of Onyx. Used to we was part of a district, and yeah, I don't know, playing bands and stuff. Working at Parasite. I've been doing a lot of shows, and I've been started doing shows when I was 15, I think 14. So I've been doing shows that long. Yeah, I'll keep it pretty brief and not go into all the details of what I do. But
Art Collective?
oh yeah, I had the Arts Collective, which is a little label. We released some CDs on that. Yeah, I've got to do a lot of cool things. So I don't know, forever grateful. But yeah, I'm pretty much just an artist who happens to be good at business as well. I'll put it that way.
Rare breed.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's called the music business. Luckily, I got both. So, yeah.
Me, not so much. I'll introduce myself. So I'm Nick Wever from Gain Media, formerly Gain Music. I've been running shows in Guelph for the better part of a decade. For anyone who doesn't know, Gain actually stands for Guelph and Area Independent and New Music, or Media. So that's kind of what we do in a nutshell, is we support local and independent musicians and artists, and I threw an annual festival, and year 9 was March 2019, and year 10 is still to be decided.
To be determined, yeah.
It works, I don't know.
And we work together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we work
And
together.
aside from that, I work at Hope House, and we're getting ready for Hope in the Street as well, coming up too. So yeah, so what I do. So I guess on that note, we should talk about some of the first shows you attended.
Oh God.
I'll tell you the first show I ever went to. I don't remember when it was. I was a teenager still, and it was the first show I ever went to without my parents or anything like that was Ashley McIsaac and Kim Stockwood in the basketball courts at the University of Guelph.
No way. Nice.
That is awesome.
When I think about that now, it seems so weird to me. But yeah, that was the first show I ever went to.
Without parents, eh? Probably at the Guelph Youth Music Center, truthfully. And I think I threw it. But if that doesn't count, then I wouldn't even know. Maybe a farewell show. Maybe either farewell or Life Story, probably. Because I remember Life Story played the first time I saw Life Story when they played that sinking. Remember that sinking ship song or whatever? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was at Centennial. Like, it was for, it wasn't called, it's not Battle of the Bands. It was something else. But that's the first time I saw a Life Story. And then, yeah, I don't want to say I was a late bloomer to, like, local shows. But probably, yeah. When we start going to, I was like, well, until after I started throwing them. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I can't quite remember when my first show was, but I remember I was living in Palmerston and we drove to Guelph because all my friends were really into music. So my Palmerston friends were the ones who got me into, Sonic Youth and Eric's Trip and all those bands. So I want to say that my first show was probably like the Weaker Thens or something like that. But I don't actually really remember now.
Yeah, it's like we're getting old or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was like, but like as I said, like so many shows I would go to with my parents. Like, I saw BB King with my dad. I saw Sting, a lot of like symphonies and stuff like that. So I was lucky. I was lucky like that. So yeah, going from like BB King to Life Story was interesting, but Life Story killed it. Like I love that band. Like I don't know. I don't want to like switch subjects too fast or something like that, but. Of all, like, there's a couple of Guelph bands that have always, like, really stuck out to me. It's, like, Farewell is just a classic. Like, I mean, they made a huge mark in our community and what we stand for in our community for,
Pure
like,
Blank in
music.
Eyes.
Yeah. And Life Story, I still can't believe they didn't get massive. Like, they were massive in, I'd say, Canada.
Yeah.
And, like, even beyond. But it's, like, I thought they were going to be, like, the next big thing type of deal. And, yeah.
Did they play with like a Me Without You and bands like that? And pretty big acts.
Oh, I'm always just addicted to Life Story. I don't even know who they play with.
Yeah, doing the reunion for them was pretty great.
Yeah, that was an amazing show. I still watch that show. We did a reunion for them at District with Race Will Run, was that? Yeah. I again saw it Centennial. Like I went to high school with
And
those
Pure Blend
guys.
opened that one, I think, too.
Yeah, and Vida played that show. Who's another classic to be in Guelph. Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sorry.
I feel like that's Constantine's for me. It's like
Yeah,
that band that I like absolutely have always loved, and like just think I feel like they never got the recognition that they deserve. Like they were big,
Yeah.
yeah.
and they still are big, but like I feel like in my mind, like they should have been. They
That's
they should have been so much bigger. Yeah,
There's so many bands. It's like how it's like almost that's I don't want to like keep flipping, but it's like that's why even like now with us be talking about like how to reinvent something or reinvent the industry, where it's like going forward, it's like I could never want to run into a Life Story band again that's not massive, like, or that we can't help as a community or a group of people get to that level to be like, hey, this is a wicked Canadian band. You guys should see them and then use our connections to like get them going or something like that. Like, yeah, I feel like even though we've been doing a lot and we, it shows in the grays in our beard. It's like I think we could. I still think I got a few more like years I could put in of like, yeah, I could do something or I don't know.
yeah.
It's a time to bring back the collective.
Yeah. Yeah. Even like Alana Gurr. I remember I met Alana Gurr at Atmosphere Cafe, actually. And she was she got picked to do acoustic guitar for something that Mandy Savoy was doing, my buddy's wife. And it's like it was just so random, but that's how I heard her voice. And like she's awesome. Like
She's so good.
It's crazy how we can all meet in this little circle type of deal of like, yeah, you worked with Atlanta and I happen to be doing sound at that show. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So we have 2 minutes now? No? 3? Do we have time should we go and segue into first show booked then? From first show attended?
First show booked. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, the first show I booked was myself. Like straight up. I'm not even gonna lie. I think it was us and
H Letters, was it?
no, that was Six from the End. I was the first band. I got kicked out of the first band I ever joined. Funny enough, by Bobby Riot, who's like my oldest friend, who plays in my band now. Yeah, he kicked me out of my first band. It was a metal band. But I understood, like, I didn't know who Marilyn Manson was, and that's what we were playing, and they had to, like, teach me that stuff. Like, that's how out of that scene I was. But then I played in a pop-punk band called Six from the End with JJ Gallo.
Nice.
Of odd years, yeah. Classic hits like I Miss Her, Blue Eyes, The Chase, It's like, JJ was writing the lyrics.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that was my first experience with, like, yeah. So the first show I booked was at the Guelph Youth Music Center. Yeah.
You want to go?
I can't remember the first show.
First show I booked, I think the first real show I booked was at the E-Bar. It was, oh my gosh. It was Rock Plaza Central. Oh my God. Woodhands and Melgrove Band.
Oh,
That was the
I
first,
remember
I would call it the first real show I booked. I think I booked a few like shows before that. I don't really remember who played them. They were, scattered like probably a year apart from each other.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But that was the first one where I was like, this is what I want to be doing. I'm going to do this and I'm going to try and build something from this. And that I just was like lucky to get those 3 bands together, like to play a show at the E-Bar. And just remembered like once like that show did well, it was like I was hooked. Like it was just that wasn't going to stop. Yeah.
That feeling, yeah. I got that.
I don't know if my first show was probably with Time the Destroyer, but the first official one was probably Cancer Bats. I think was the first show that I booked.
Oh, I remember that show, yeah.
I can't quite remember if there was one before that, but the first show I think was Cancer Bats in 2011. I think it was. But
That's massive. Yeah, that's a big
Nice.
bite. I did not have those balls. No way. Yeah.